Hello Twitch, hello YouTube, this is Captain Nav. Welcome to a new flight. Today on the Aerosoft A320 for the first time on this fine Sunday. So today's flight EZ4411, which I believe is a summer flight only, but I thought I'll do the route today, and we are on the 320, as I said, in the EasyJet colors. So here we are in Lyon St Exupery airport in the kind of center of France, and we'll fly to sunny Ibiza. Right, so we are cold and dark. I'll get the aircraft going. I hope everybody's doing well today. Cool, excellent. So on the Aerosoft 320, cold and dark, starting the day. So we'll put the battery 1 and battery 2 on, and then the external power is available, so we'll switch it on, and then we'll turn on all the screens, the PFD, the ND, I think. Oops. Here we are, and then down the ECAM panels. Here we are. I need to remember how to do this one, because hello Delta Yankee 2, KLM 672 Norris, Wild Biakos, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well on this fine Sunday. Right, I'll go back on the overhead panel. We'll arm the emergency exit lights. Now I come back to the overhead panel, set all these, the adheres, flight controls. They don't do anything. GPWS is active. The CVR test, yeah. All this, well, I mean, we don't really touch nothing. The wipers, they seem to be working. That's good. Hydraulic pumps, yeah, that's all kind of auto, so we don't do anything. The fuel pumps, they all come on. APU gen off, no, we don't touch that, we don't touch that. And navigation lights, they come on now. Okay, I think I'm not doing too badly. If you have any tips, please let me know. We'll have to turn these on, and the rest is good for the moment. I'll just set 2000 and the transponder. Oh, it's all or nothing on this one. Okay, cool. Right, so on the FMC, that's good. I've got company route. Zero 01. And the alternate is no, I can't do that. Palma de Mallorca. Return. Align the RS. The flight number is EZ4411. Cost index, I think 38 works for about 7-8 in the cruise. The cruise level is 350. Doesn't matter. Then the flight plan from Lyon. The wind at the moment is, yeah, kind of southerly, so we'll go for runway 18 right. So departure And it's changed actually in Lyon. It's no longer 1836. It's 1735. So 17 right is the one, and we go for the Romam departure. So it's the up arrow. Try to find Roman 80. Yeah, that's the one. And there's no transition, so we can insert. Then looking at the chart, just to make sure that the routing is correct. Oh, it's pretty much straight ahead. That's good. Yeah, 4 miles and then continue to Romam. Yeah, okay, no worries there. Excellent. The performance, no. The flight plan is there in it. It's all in there. Performance, what am I supposed to do here? Frap 1. Hey, it's given me the performance. Happy days. And that's 1500 feet. Why do they do it like this on Airbus? It's a headache. I mean, that's 1500 feet from the airport elevation. So the airport elevation is what? 821. So it will be 3821 for the acceleration. And for the engine out, well, it doesn't matter because there's not going to be an engine out, so. So 150, 151, 152. We've got a flight plan active. 3.8 fuel on arrival. Okay. Okay, well that must be it. For the pre-flight, I guess, maybe. Not sure. 1228 on this one. And on this, it's supposed to be blank, blank. Set an altitude. As there's no ATC, we'll go all the way to the... Well, I'll set 150 initially, or 140. QNH set 1020. Yeah.
Cockpit preparation checklist.
Here we are.
Batteries.
Both on.
Electrical power.
External power is on.
Navigation lights.
On.
Engine master.
Both off.
Engine mode selector.
Checked normal.
Landing gear lever.
Checked.
Parking brake.
Off.
Flaps.
Checked position.
Speed brake lever.
Checked retracted.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Transponder mode.
Checked standby.
Radio control panel.
On.
ECAM recall.
Checked.
Yep, there's nothing there.
On.
Flight director.
On.
Emergency lights.
Checked and armed.
No smoking signs.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Probe window heat.
Auto.
Air condition.
Checked.
Ventilation panel.
Is checked.
Electric panel.
Checked.
Fuel pumps.
On.
Hydraulics.
Is checked.
Acubrake pressure.
I'm not sure what it does there for the acubrake pressure.
Set.
Ground proximity warning system.
On.
Electronic flight control system.
On.
ADIRS.
Checked.
Emergency equipment.
Is checked.
Checklist complete.
Okay. Alright, let's do the boarding. Man, I'm a little bit behind on this one. It's amazing. Yeah, the jetway is in place. There's a door open, so... Oh yeah, open the cargo front door. Okay, that's for the bags. Aft and open. That's it. Right, Theo, what to do next? Yeah, I'm a little bit slow there today. Anyway, today is a fun flight. Ready? It's just to do something different and play around on this wonderful beast, the A320. Right, while we do the boarding, shouldn't be too long. We'll start the APU. Once the APU is started, we can disconnect the ground power. I'll take the parking brake now. So the APU is starting. We can see the EGT is rising there on the ECAM panel. 40%. Wow, the APU gen is picking up there. That's good. 98%, 100 APU available. Perfect. Nice. I like. We'll go to the doors. Yeah, it's already done automatically. Wonderful. So that's on. If we go off, that's it. And then we'll disconnect the ground power there. So, where is it? Ground services. Traffic cones we can remove. Wheel chokes we can remove. And external power we can remove. Good stuff, at least we're not gonna push with the ground power connected. Well, I will close the doors once we are finished boarding. Now all the doors are closed. Let's call well.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Molto bene.
Before start checklist.
Wait, mate. I'm not
Windows
really
and
sure.
doors.
Closed and locked.
APU.
APU on.
APU bleed.
Set on.
External power.
Disconnected and off.
Cabin signs.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Bearer reference.
Checked. 1020.
1020. Check. Beacon lights.
Set on.
Checklist complete.
Yeah, so he didn't give me the time to put the APU bleed on, and the beacon is this one here. Okay. Hey, KLM 672, Goedemiddag or Goedemorgen. Right, I will start the engines. So I think this one goes to ignition start, and then
Starting engine 2.
starting engine 2. We are in business. How wonderful is this? I'm getting good at this. I'm getting very good. On the ground, I'm still kind of finding my way around. But then once we get started, I'm becoming very good at this thing.
Engine 2 is stabilized.
Très bien.
Starting number 1.
Starting number 1. Oui, oui, oui. Beautiful Airbus sounds. The PTU, almost like a professional indeed. Very nice push, GSX, thank you very much.
Engine 1 is stabilized.
Oh oui, engine 1. Okay, so this one comes off.
Set parking brake.
Parking brake is
Parking
set.
brakes are set.
Flaps 1, we arm this one. The stub 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the APU needs to come off. And I think this one needs to come off as well. What else? Auto brake, max.
Unlocking gear.
Oui. What else?
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass being removed.
After start checklist.
Ah, after start checklist, that's it. I think he's
Engine mode
coordinating.
selector,
Checked normal.
APU bleed,
Off.
APU master,
Off.
ground spoilers,
Checked and armed.
rudder trim,
Checked 0.
pitch trim,
Left is clear.
Checked.
Right is
flight
clear.
controls,
Flight controls, so it's lateral first, so left,
Full left. Full right. Neutral. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
check, flaps,
Flaps 1.
anti-ice,
Off.
ECAM status,
Checked.
ECAM door page,
Checked.
hand signal,
Received.
checklist complete.
yeah, he's walking away, all the ground equipment is clear, so we're good to go. Take a config test, it's done, initiate taxi, okay. I think, yeah, the Copilot will do it, okay. Let's go. Yeah, I'm ready to make a career change. Yeah? I'm ready to become an Airbus man. Right, I actually did the push in the wrong way.
Taxing checklist.
I'm gonna go this way towards Tango
No
Delta
flight.
and then come back onto Tango.
Set on.
Brake check,
Pedal pressed. Checked 0.
check, auto brakes,
Max.
takeoff data,
Reviewed.
FCU,
Checked.
flight instruments,
Checked.
checked, TO config,
Checked no blue.
checklist complete.
Very nice. So the checklist is complete. We're gonna turn right here onto Tango Delta. And a right turn. And then we'll see how it goes. Set takeoff thrust. I will. Once I'm on the runway. Yeah, the takeoff performance would change if you take an intersection, because basically by taking an intersection, the runway is becoming shorter, basically. So the V1 would change because you have less runway and the whole takeoff calculation changes indeed. But yeah, by taking an intersection takeoff, basically it's the runway becomes basically another runway. So you're gonna have to accelerate more quickly, and depending on the amount of acceleration you have, then the V1 is gonna change. I think I said that before, like we always kind of try to calculate the takeoff performance from the most likely departure point or intersection, and some airports we know all the time that it's gonna be from such an interception, or that ATC is gonna give us the intersection or can give us the interception. So we'll calculate the kind of worst case scenario, and sometimes it kind of makes us like use more thrust on takeoff, but at the same time at least you're covered if you do get the intersection takeoff. So I'm on the correct runway.
Takeoff.
Here we go.
Man, flex, and SRS.
Check.
But I didn't get runway. Why not? Should be
Power
SRS, runway, man flex. No, the FMC doesn't help to calculate.
100 knots.
You've
Checked.
got to use the performance, either like a software or some tables we have, but you've got to use the performance, yeah, either the tables or the software to determine
Lead 1. Rotate.
all that stuff.
Positive climb.
Gear up.
Right, so we've got
Gear
nav,
Navigation.
Check.
navigation.
Gears up. Lights off.
System of gaming? No, I don't have any mods. Everybody is
Climb thrust.
climb thrust now. Everybody's usually behaving, and the few people who don't behave are just silenced very quickly, banned, and that's the end of it. But I know usually you guys are very good on the chat, and there's no nonsense. I mean, we're here to have a good time, and not here to be silly, or you know. So yeah. Very nice day. Oh. It wants to accelerate already. Let me go for flaps up.
The after takeoff checklist.
Engine mode selector.
Check normal.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
Flaps.
Check retracted.
Landing gear.
Gear up. Lights off.
Hey, thank you very much for the follow.
Set off.
New
Both
2017.
on.
Anti-ice.
Off.
TCAS.
Checked.
Altimeter.
1020.
1020. Check. Checklist complete.
And thank you also to System of Gaming 1 for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Wow. So transition altitude, when we set standard. Here it is. What's the little message? Climb to cruise level. Yep, I shall do that. Autopilot.
Autopilot on.
And we'll go all the way to 350. Standard at set, and we're good. We're climbing away. approaching level 100, it's gonna accelerate. What's the
That's
manage?
10,000.
The managed speed is gonna be
Lights
319. So it's
Off.
gonna lower the nose to then allow the aircraft to accelerate. And once we get to 390 knots, then it's gonna raise the nose back up to pick up the climb speed. All the aircraft basically work the same. It's exactly the same on the Boeing aircraft, be it like the 73 or the 777. To accelerate, the nose needs to come down. The aircraft picks up some speed. The thrust is at maximum, so for the climb, so the thrust doesn't really come into action. And you see, once the speed gets closer to the commanded speed, then the nose likely comes back up and then settles down to maintain the required speed. So the required speed is achieved by the pitch angle of the aircraft. But to kind of accelerate initially, you need to obviously allow the nose to come down to pick up some speed, if that makes sense. Right, we'll let the passengers go, so seat belts to auto. No smoking stays on. I think probably, I mean, I'm not sure, but I know on the Boeing aircraft, there's no smoking is now kind of defaults to be on all the time, because smoking is not allowed on most airlines. I would say probably on 99% of airlines, except maybe in some places, but where they don't really care. But now, like, smoking is not a politically correct thing to do. So yeah, I think the no smoking sign is on all the time. Even if the switch is on the off position, it would be defaulted to on. Yeah, it's funny, I was saying the other day that everybody is usually quite good and behaves, and just when I was saying that, like a few minutes later, there was somebody like starting to write nonsense on the chat, so it was quite funny. No, you don't need to change the heading bug, that's the good thing. I'm not really sure where the heading bug is, to tell the truth, on this. I'm not sure if the heading is this kind of green lozenge, or the yellow kind of line here. With the wind coming from the right like this, I suspect, but that's only a suspicion, maybe the heading is actually the yellow line, because the wind is coming from the right. You need to kind of follow the track. You need to put the nose slightly into the wind, so I suspect this is the heading, and the green lozenge, which kind of points more or less straight, following the route, is the track. But I stand to be corrected, as I said. I'm not like an Airbus pilot, and I'm not familiar too much with Airbus, but that's how I would understand it. And there is no heading bug, yeah, indeed, and managed mode. It's all kind of automatic. But I think if you pull the heading, it will be on the current heading straight away. Whereas on the Boeing, if you press like heading select, but you've not matched the heading, then the heading is gonna be it could be right behind you. Whereas I think on this one, if you pull, yeah, you see 209, and that looks like it's actually yeah, it's actually the yellow line there. And now the heading bug is this blue triangle. So I'll push the heading back to the aircraft and come back in managed or navigation mode. A lot of guys say that once they go in, they go to Airbus, then yeah, they were on Boeing, they go on to Airbus, they say they wouldn't go back to Boeing because they think like Airbus is the business to fly. So yeah. And I can like playing around with this simulator. I can see maybe where they're coming from because it is quite nice actually to just play around with it. The autopilot in a sense works better than the like the Boeings. I mean the having, you know, the manage mode. It's just, to me, looks much more easier, you know, really. I guess it's like taste in colors, you know. It's quite subjective. The terrain on the Indy, because the weather radar on this is not very good actually. Right, so we passed Montélimar, we're gonna go towards Orange, Valence, and then possibly fly just off Marseille to go over the water towards Ibiza, CCC. Yeah, I see what you mean, Lyon 672. Like the automation is a problem because you can indeed like kind of start losing your flying skills. It's a bit of a compromise between kind of being efficient and safe, and kind of stay within all the defined parameters, and also fly manually. A lot of airlines put like a bit of, you know, pressure on the guys to fly within certain parameters, well, to use the autopilot, of course. And so it's not compulsory to fly with the autopilot on all the time, up until the last maybe 30 seconds of flying, and on short final to disconnect and land manually. But there are so many kind of gates restrictions, allowed rates of descent and stuff like that, that some of the guys they can't be bothered with, you know, all of basically getting into trouble and fly the aircraft manually and maybe busting like a parameter or something. So they would rather like leave the autopilot do all the job. It's much easier, like also as far as the workload is concerned, above all for the other guy, because when you fly manually, the other guy needs to be a little bit more like hands-on as well to do the above all on the Boeing, to do all the MCP selection and help match the speed, for example, match the headings, do all these interventions on the MCP. So the pilot monitoring is much more involved. So then the two guys have got more workload, and you kind of lose a little bit more of your situation awareness. So a lot of guys just like to just fly, you know, with the autopilot on from, like, you know, basically as soon as you take off to like maybe 30 seconds before landing. I personally like to hand fly the departure if I know it's not gonna be very busy. Oh, already taking the table out. Let's do that. Yeah, I like to hand fly the departure if I know it's not gonna be busy. Around like home base here, it's okay usually to kind of hand fly. We can hand fly for for a while, for the first 5,000 feet or whatever, do the flap retraction. If there's a couple of turns, it's good. We're supposed to keep the flight directors on. I was like being a bit like slated like a few weeks ago by like someone say, oh, if you fly with the flight director, it's like having the autopilot on. We have to anyway to follow the flight director. Some of the departures are like you need to be fairly accurate on the tracking, so if you fly with no flight director, you basically have like no guidance. It's all like RNAV departures. Nowadays, if you don't fly with the flight director, then your track keeping is gonna be all over the place, and yeah, you can't really afford to do all this nonsense, at the end of the day, we're not really here to play around. We're here to kind of safely carry 300, 400 people from A to B. We're not here to play around. The airline is not writing like a blank check for us to to cash in. It's a bit like in Top Gun, the guy says, hey, we're not writing a blank check for you to play around with your F-16 or something. You're supposed to do what you're told to do, not play around. And it's a little bit the same for us. It's you can't do what you want. Oh, we're gonna fly close to, I think that's Marseille. I'm trying to find Istres. Oh, I think that's Istres down here, which I think is, yeah, it's a very long runway, and I think they can use this as an alternate for the space shuttle, if I'm correct. As an alternate, if for some reason it doesn't pan out well to go back towards Florida, then they would come here. I think that's an alternate. Otherwise, it's obviously a kind of like Air Force base. No, I don't fly general aviation anymore. Do you mean in real or on the simulator? In real, I don't. In the simulator, I quite like it. I don't have any general aviation aircraft add-ons, but I quite like actually the default Cessna 172. I mean, it's maybe not 100% realistic in the handling and stuff, but I quite like it. I think it does the trick. You can play around with the VORs and the ILS if you want to do a bit of instrument flying and radio navigation, and I like it, I have to say. So I do sometimes on my own. I'm not really sure if there's too much of a demand to do VFR flying and general aviation here on stream. I think, from what I understand, people are more interested in airliners, but yeah, maybe I'll try one of those days to do a VFR flying. It would be good actually. At the end of the day, the basics of flying that are developed, on those small aircraft. I know that nowadays some guys start directly I think what they call the MPL, the multi-pilot license. So they kind of start from scratch directly into these flight simulators. I'm not really sure actually how the MPL starts, but I think the kind of light aircraft flying on these MPLs is either very limited or non-existent, and then most of the flying training is done on simulators straight away. So To go back to VFR flying, the good thing is that you can also try to play around, you know, do like a navigation exercise. You can obviously like navigate from point to point by like, or should I say like landmarks to landmarks, by looking outside and say, oh, okay, this is like, you know, for example, a motorway, it's that town here, then there's another town there, there's a lake, and kind of jump from landmark to landmark like this, and kind of well, I think they call dead reckoning. You can navigate like this, but you can also do like a proper navigation exercise where before going for your flight, you okay, you decide I'm gonna navigate to I'm gonna go like to that little lake, which is maybe, I don't know, 50 miles away. I'm departing from my airport, so I'm gonna use, let's say, the airport as a starting point, and before the flight you're gonna calculate your track, the distance, take into account with the wind forecast what will be your heading, and then do the navigation that way. So kind of keep the same heading for 50 miles, depending on your actual aircraft speed and on the wind speed. You're going to calculate your ground speed and how long it's going to take you to get, you know, to your arrival point. And that's a proper like navigation exercise that way, by just like flying the heading. And then at some point during the navigation leg, maybe you'll be a little bit left of track, a little bit right of track, so you do maybe like an evaluation point, if you want, like maybe a quarter down the way, half the way, 3/4, and then at the end. And maybe like after like the first quarter of the leg, maybe you'll be a little bit to the right, so you have to adjust your heading to come back towards the track. That's quite interesting to do, and it's actually quite difficult to do in a real aircraft, and possibly as well here in the simulator. But that's the real way of navigating. Nobody does that anymore, because most aircraft, even like a little Cessna 152, you can go up with a handheld GPS, and then you just follow the line on the GPS, I guess. But yeah, if you want to do a proper like VFR navigation, that's the way to do it, you know. Find your track, distance, and then with the wind forecast, work out your headings to fly. And that's good. That's actually what you do when you do your PPL, and the PPL kind of.
Hello, Captain. Would you like some coffee? Enjoy.
Muchas gracias. Merci beaucoup. Yeah, when you do your PPL, the navigation kind of part of it is exactly that. You're not just flying around following, you know, oh, this is town A, that's town B, or that's the river that longs along, or I'll just follow the road there that leads to, you know, the point I'm trying to navigate to. No, you actually have to fly headings and see how, like, looking at the ground, if you've deviated by how much, how to correct, and all that stuff is. Because exactly, if you lose the GPS, then you're pretty much on your own. So you've got to kind of. I know, like nowadays, it's very easy and very convenient to fly with the GPS. But if you lose the GPS, then you need to have a backup. Initially, the backup, of course, can be by looking outside and know where you are. But yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's a good thing not to fully rely on the GPS. You know, you need to kind of navigate as well in your own head, so to speak. So, and do like a proper navigation exercise. Definitely. Yeah. So if you do that, then if you lose the GPS, then you can continue your navigation the way. Yeah. Always have a plan B. Above all, when you're flying along like long distances and you're flying over like areas with not so many landmarks. If you fly in an area with a lot of landmarks, a lot of towns and rivers, roads, motorways, or like rail tracks, a lot of like places you can identify on the ground. Say, okay, yeah, I recognize this, I recognize that, yeah, okay, I know where I am. But if you're like in an area where, like, you know, the landmarks are a little bit sparse, then it's good to kind of do a proper navigation to kind of minimize the chances to get lost, because once you get lost, then it's a little bit tricky, you know. And you can get lost on these VFR flights, because if, like, you know, you go in the wrong direction and then you go somewhere you don't know as well, familiarity with the place is very important, actually, because if you go somewhere you don't know, in an area, in a region you don't know, and then you get lost, then you're gonna be really stuck, you know. So and that reminds me of all the fun VFR flying, but yeah, in real I don't do it anymore. I kind of had to let it go. But I have to say, I quite miss it. It was good fun.